All right, sauce time. I'm gonna go grab some herbs in the back. I'll be right back.
All right.
If you need anything, shout at me.
I remember the first time I went and grabbed some herbs in the back.
So how did you create Silly Pink Bunnies? Where'd that come from?
My hometown. Like when I was in high school. The local paper printed an article about gang activity in my city. Which is pretty funny. Like, I'm from a kind of small city in upstate New York.
Yep.
And they wrote this sort of exaggerated article just to kind of scare old people, I think, about how our town was having all this serious gang activity. And they were like, oh, these kids that hang out here are a gang, and these kids that hang out here are a gang, and they were like, the kids that hang out at the skate park are a gang. So me and my friends were like, no shit, we're a fucking gang. That's sick as hell. Like, we didn't know. And so we decided that if we were in fact a gang in this shitty small town, or city, that we were definitely the toughest gang there, no question. Because, you know, it was a fucking bunch of dickheads from our high school that they were calling gangsters. So we decided that we were probably the toughest, and we needed a really tough name. And a good friend of mine came up with the name, and it's just one of those things that stuck. And then I moved here in the early 90s, and was trying to go to art school and figure out what I was doing. And at that time in art school, I was kind of like not super psyched on, I didn't have a lot of friends out here, and I'd left everything I knew to move here and go to school, and so I used it as kind of like a vehicle for my stuff back then. Like, I sort of pitched it as this larger than life gang, which really was just like a couple of dudes from where I grew up. But after living here for some time, it actually kind of became more than just that. Like, I had a bunch of friends here that got into it, and, you know, one thing led to another, and it sort of grew into what it is now, which is pretty much nothing. To me, the thing that was fascinating back then was the idea of making something out of nothing. And building a campaign that, like, people were really responding to, but nobody really knew what it was. And I was really into that back then. Like, I really loved the fact that people cared enough to talk about something and get excited about it without really knowing what it was. And it's sort of that whole, like, it's kind of how religion works, you know, like that blind faith or trust in something that you're not really sure exactly what it is, but if you see it enough, you begin to think, oh, well, it is what it is.